Hello, Maverick traders. Welcome to the market roundup. It is March 25th, 2019. Now, let's talk about our candle that we had on Friday. So last Friday, we had our big, ugly red candle that really took us down to some support levels. And if you were able to watch or attend or see the trading room last night, we talked about how this 2800 was going to be our first point of where the market could possibly bounce. We said if it broke that point, we're going to look down to 2740 as our second point. I talked last night about the kind of candle we saw today. I talked about if we saw a candle that opened up, traded down, and closed at its low, that this was a very, very, very negative sign, and that we are likely to go down to the 2740 area. I also talked about if we saw something like a shooting star, where we rallied during the day, but ended up failing that rally and closing all the way down at its low. I talked about these were the two candles we did not want to see if we were expecting a bounce in the market. So we actually were down close to 1% in the futures overnight. So when we did the trading room, futures were down 1%. When I woke up in the morning, the futures had rallied back up, and when the market opened basically flat. And then the market went up for just a little bit. And then what happened was it failed pretty hard. And it went all the way back down to down 1% where the futures were. Now at that point, we were looking at a big red candle. This red candle said, okay, you know what? It's not looking good. However, we did find a bottom. We bounced and we came all the way back up. And we closed where we opened. So what did we get? We got a doji candle. Okay. So I talked about the kind of candles we did want to see. We wanted to see a gap down and a close higher, an open candle, an up candle. And we also wanted to see maybe a hammer candle. That would tell us that, okay, there were buyers during that day. We didn't get the negative candle. And we didn't get the positive candle. What did we get? We got a doji candle. Now look, the doji candle is still a reversal candle. So if you were looking for the market to possibly bounce around 2800, this is a decent candle. It is a decent candle. However, what we need after this is we need confirmation. And this is where I'm going to say tomorrow's candle is very, very, very important. Because tomorrow's candle really needs to be a green candle. It really needs to be a green one. Because if it's not, we're going to get a red candle, and that's going to tell us that this 2800 is likely not going to hold. So to me, tomorrow's candle is extremely important. We'll talk about this. If we got one of these candles today, the reason why these candles are so important is because we kind of did get the follow through. We got the reverse and the follow through. So again, we got to close at a high on both of these. If we saw a morning star candle, a gap down and a run higher, or a hammer candle, I would have been coming on here saying, hey, look, it looks like this is going to hold. It looks like this is a pullback. This is probably a good place to start taking some positions. With the doji, I can't say that. With the doji, I'm now left to saying, okay, we need an up candle tomorrow. An up candle tomorrow would basically say this 2800 is holding for the time being. That's what it's going to say here. If we do not get an up candle tomorrow, I think we're in a little trouble. So as you can see, markets were basically flat today. We did have some movement between high and low. What did well? Industrials. Industrials actually bounced back, but I don't think this is anything more than a bounce back. What performed poorly? Technology, but guess what? Technology has been the stellar outperformer. So we had one of the worst sectors put in the best day, and one of the best sectors put in a bad day. I don't see anything in this sector performance that really tells me anything today. So let's jump into the sector heat map, and you can see really pretty mixed. We did have a little Apple news. The stock actually traded down a little bit. But you can see the moves we had, not that big. We got a bounce back in Boeing. People are feeling a little bit better about Boeing. But most all, this is a very, very, very mixed day. It seems like large cap did a little bit better than small cap, especially in tech. You can see that tech small cap really had some selling here in some of the chip names. So where does that leave us? You know, it leaves us right here, right now, that the market is still in a pullback. Yes, we got a doji, but I don't think that we can really draw any conclusions of whether or not this 2800 is going to hold. So when we look out there for possible trades, the only things that really triggered today on the bullish side were stocks that had bullish engulfing candles. So again, a bullish engulfing candle, we're going to have a pullback. So we have a pullback, and today the only candles that really triggered were bullish engulfing that basically opened up below and closed above. So these are really the only things that triggered today on the bull side, because almost everything went down on Friday. So if hardly anything got a reversal candle, a lot of things got reversal candles today, but we don't have the confirmation. The bullish engulfing really is confirmation because we did close up near the highs. So again, we only have a few. On the bear side, I got to say, a lot of stuff triggered, and take a look at what triggered. Healthcare plans. We talked about the weakness in healthcare plans. 5 of these stocks, again, this whole industry group is moving much, much lower. We got some sell-off in telecom as well. And again, PCG, this is the big utility in California. They've got a whole bunch of legal problems. You can see, we'll take a look at their chart. It based, and it actually is now coming back down. So on the long side here, I want to take a look at this MOMO. So Momo, we got selling last week. But look at this candle today. This is a nice candle. This is a bullish engulfing candle, and it tells us that the buyers were there. Even when the market faded, the buyers were still there today. So again, great call from one of our traders. This is a pullback to this resistance level back in November. So again, anyone looking to make a bullish trade, this is definitely a candidate. MO on the long side. Taking a look at PCG. So this is a company, again, it's the California utility. And this $20 has been pretty much a brick wall. It has not been able to trade over that. That being said, it's also been doing a little bit of an ascending triangle, where the lows were getting higher. So these typically break to the upside. However, sometimes you get the opposite result. They break out of the base, and now we're looking at new lows here. I want everyone to notice the scaling. This thing moves 5 points pretty easy. 5 points on a $20 stock, that's a 25% move. Today, the stock moved over 6%. So this thing is volatile on a percentage basis. So if you're looking to make a trade here on the short side, I think 15 is a reasonable target here on PCG. So great call on one of our utility stocks from one of our traders. Next, I want to take a look at Cigna. We've talked about the healthcare plan space, how it is weak. Many of them have just completed some really nice bear rallies. So from 162 up to almost 174. That's a nice, about a 5% rally in the stock. You can see came down. So I know that I looked through our trader trades in the forum, and a lot of these kind of stocks, these healthcare stocks, went lower. Again, Cigna, UNH. I know I saw some traders in WBA, Walgreens, Boots Alliance. These are all very, very weak at the moment. So great call identifying that weakness. And last one, this is in telecom. This is a foreign telecom. And you can see, same thing. We had a bear rally off the bottom. So 11 up to, 10 up to about 1150. So that's a nice 10% bounce. So again, I love these 10% bounces on these weak stocks. So we can go ahead and short. So again, great call on this one. Probably going to see some support down at this last low at 1020. But talk about a stock that has not participated at all in the bullishness and really is just going lower. I call these the march of death, where they just go lower and lower and lower. And sometimes they die. Sometimes that happens. All right, so again, I see lots of good things triggering on the short side, nothing on the long side yet. Tomorrow, I think tomorrow's candle is very important. If you are looking for a bounce in the markets, tomorrow's candle needs to be an up candle. If it's not, if we close down below that 2800, I think you're going to see 2740. I think you're going to see 2740. That's the next level of support. Today's candle was encouraging. At one point, today's day looked like it could be a disaster. At one point, we were down close to 1%, and if there was no confidence, there would have been a run and it would have pushed it. The buyers came in the middle of the day, and they ran it all the way back up to a flat close. So today's candle was encouraging. The problem is it doesn't mean that we're going to go up to new highs. It's just saying that at the moment, there's enough buyers out there to keep us from falling apart. So tomorrow's candle will be important. We're going to need to see that confirmation candle on that doji. Economic news tomorrow, housing starts, Case-Shiller home price index, consumer confidence. These are all mildly important. I don't see really anything. And we're definitely in between earnings periods. We do have earnings from KB Homes and from McCormick Spices. I know those are trades that we've been either looking at or traded recently in the past. All right, well, that wraps it up. Like I said, tomorrow we're going to have a much better idea of what this market is doing. At this point, I know I'm on a little bit of hold until we see what that candle is. All right, thanks for joining, everyone, and happy trading. Goodbye.